waiting for is a Supreme Court case that is dealing with the Second Amendment, and Rachel's going to appear over my shoulder at any given second, and there she is right there. Hi, Rachel. How are you today?
Doing well. How are you, James?
Good. What's the weather like where you are?
Oh, well, it's awful busy here in D.C. today, especially for the NRA and gun rights advocates.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. Okay. We can't stand it. Tell us what's going on with the Supreme Court.
Sure. Well, the Supreme Court announced this morning that it will hear the case of McDonald versus the city of Chicago. And what this case is dealing with is whether the right to keep and bear arms is secured by the Second Amendment. And what this would do would protect Americans and gun owners against overreaching state and local governments like Chicago, who still has gun bans on their books and does not allow their citizens to keep firearms in their home for self-protection. It will look at that, and I'm going to use some legal terms here just to make sure that I get everything right. The case will address the application of the Second Amendment to the states through either the Due Process Clause or the Privileges and Immunities Clause of the 14th Amendment. So right now, and over the years, almost all of the Bill of Rights has been incorporated to states. That means that the Bill of Rights applies to the federal government and also applies to state and local governments. The Second Amendment has not been decided. So that's what the Supreme Court will look at. Does the Second Amendment protect you from the federal government restrictions and state and local governments as well?
That is a huge, huge case.
This is monumental. I mean, we thought that Heller was big in defining what the Second Amendment meant. And what Heller did was define that the Second Amendment indeed protects an individual right to keep and bear arms. But it was very narrow in scope. It only addressed the District of Columbia, which is a federal enclave. This case will address all cities, all states, all across the country to make sure that no federal, state, or local government can ban your firearms and not allow you to keep firearms in your home for self-protection.
Okay. Now, Rachel, you know, most of us have never seen what the Supreme Court does. I've never had the opportunity of attending one of those. I'm not even sure they're open to the public, quite frankly. They may not be. But I've never seen what takes place there. I mean, can you kind of walk us through some of this procedures for us novices out here who have no idea? Is this going to take months and years? I mean, what's going to happen?
It will take a while. There is no typical for the Supreme Court. They can pretty much do whatever they want. These are lifetime appointees, and they make the rules. And they are very, very intelligent individuals who know our law and our legal system backwards and forwards. Now, I've never actually been to a Supreme Court hearing either, but the public is able to come. You just have to stand in line to get in.
Oh, really? So the public can attend then?
Yes, the public can attend. I know that when Heller was being heard in front of the justices, there were lines at 2 o'clock in the morning to get into the hearing. So this is something that people camp out to see. It's like a concert.
Oh, okay. Do they allow the media to come into a case like that?
No, the media is not allowed. But there are a lot of media outside to make sure that they cover the event. Now, just so you guys know timelines, we did find out today that they will hear the case. We will probably find out in a few months when it will be heard. We are guessing that it'll be heard sometime early to mid 2010. So it's going to be a while from now, probably 6 or 8 months. Heller is any indication of what to expect. After that, the decision will be made several months after. So, you know, this is a lengthy process, but this is something very exciting for the NRA, for gun owners, for the pro-Second Amendment movement, because the Supreme Court is now tasked with defining the Second Amendment further.
Okay, so tell me. Okay, so we've got the Supreme Court. Let's just get a little imagination going here. Okay, I picture all these people up on a podium somewhere, and they're all dressed in black robes, and somewhere in front of them is someone who is actually bringing the case forward. Who would that be?
Sure. Well, the attorney for the McDonald versus City of Chicago is Alan Gura, and he was also the attorney for Heller. Okay. So he has some experience.
Okay, good. So he doesn't represent the NRA.
No, he does not.
Okay, he's representing the individual.
there are 4 individuals on this case.
Okay. Okay. So here we go. We've got this huge gallery up here with black robes. They're all looking very serious. We have an attorney who's forwarding the case. He has 4 people with him. Is there anybody else involved down there?
Yes, you will also have the opposing side. So the justices will have the opportunity to hear the pro-gun argument and the anti-gun argument, just as they did in Heller. And we're really looking forward to hearing these arguments. We have some time to wait. We have some time to prepare, and all of those Supreme Court analysts who make it their job to try to decide and guess what the Supreme Court is going to do have several months to have some theories on this one.
Right. Well, I'm already getting the first question over here, and they're asking me, who could be against this? Who's the opposing team? Do you know?
The city of Chicago.
Oh, the city of Chicago. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, hey, the city of Chicago. Well, okay. Well, that answers that question. All right. So this is going to be an ongoing thing with you and me and the Supreme Court then for months.
Absolutely. We've been talking about this. We talked about Heller numerous times in the past year and a half, and this is no change. We'll be talking about it a lot. There'll be updates very often, and I want to make sure that you, your viewers, your listeners are all abreast of what's going on. I just want to make sure that everyone knows what the latest is on this, because it's so important for the Second Amendment as we know it, and we hope to further define this unique American freedom.
Right, right. So, okay, good. Then we can look forward to, and I guess there's a release that comes out of the Supreme Court. I mean, are they actually making some sort of progress that you can report to us from week to week? I mean, I didn't realize that we would have that available to us. Will we?
Well, you can go onto the SCOTUS website and on their blog, and they're always keeping everyone up to date. Now, any kind of gun rights or Second Amendment case has been top media and one of the top stories all day today, because it's such an important right that we all have, and it's so important to the majority of Americans.
Yeah.
So the media is certainly covering this. Now, will they have daily, weekly updates? We don't know that. Okay. But what we do know is that when we can speculate when we will hear the
right.
oral arguments. I just don't know when that is. But as soon as we find out, we will certainly let everyone know. And also, if there's any other updates that come about until then, we'll certainly talk about it on here. And I expect that this to be a top priority and a top topic for us to talk about.
Absolutely, this is breaking news. I mean, there's nothing in this morning's paper about this, so this is absolutely breaking news, audience. I mean, for you shooters out there that had no idea, you just found out what's going on today, and it's really important. This launches it. And Rachel is going to keep us up from week to week, as much information as we can obtain. I'm sure Rachel is going to pass that on to us. This is, and I'm going to use Rachel's words, a monumental case. Maybe as larger than Heller. And so thank you very much for sharing that with us, Rachel. I mean, we're going to be waiting week to week. I mean, I'm getting questions here that are way over my head. They're using attorney language here, and I'm not even an attorney.
I'm not an attorney either, but this is something very exciting. So whether you're a lawyer, an attorney, or have some legal background, this is something very exciting for all of us political nerds.